Wow, what a game. The Tennessee Titans defeat the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. I recorded this video earlier. I'm going to cut it pretty short this time because I'm tired. The video took about 4 hours to upload. Don't know why. But got copyright strike, so it's because I did show a little bit of footage from the game. Not a lot, but just kind of a few highlights from the game, but understandably so. But we'll go ahead and recap here. Apologize if you're in the middle of the video and it just was cut short. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I walked through pretty much some of the big time plays from the game. Let's go ahead and pull some up here so I can kind of walk you through this. But early on, really the Titans didn't play too well. Play calling a bit iffy here and there. Ran the ball too much on first down, I think. We could have thrown a little bit more of a bootleg play action a little bit on first downs, because every first down it felt like Derrick Henry was just getting absolutely blown up in the backfield. But we threw in a couple of play actions on first down, and we were pretty successful when we did so. Even when we just threw the ball on first down, it felt like we were pretty successful throwing the ball on first down rather than running. But I felt like that was the key, getting the pass game going early. Julio was just an absolute beast in the first half. Had triple-digit receiving yards in the first half. If that doesn't excite you, I don't know what's supposed to excite you. Well, this game should have excited you, but if Julio getting 102 yards in the first half, if that doesn't excite you, then I don't know what will. Just because we bring in Julio and expect him to do Julio type things, and he did Julio type things today, early and often. Should have had a touchdown, but don't know what the refs were looking at. I really do not know what they were looking at. But let's go ahead and I'll walk you through the game, some of my thoughts and opinions from the game. I just remember the first catch that Julio made. I think this was Julio's first catch. We were about at the 40 yard line, maybe 35-ish yard line. And it was the catch where Julio just kept it away from the defender, kind of got bobbled, regained it. That was the catch where I was like, holy cow, Julio's on the Titans. That was the first kind of, because we didn't see that last week. We saw Julio, what he made, like 3 catches, 29 yards, nothing at all last week. But that catch in like the first quarter, a little bit later in the first quarter, where he just went up and got it, looked like he jumped up 10 feet in the air to catch it, kept it away from the defender, brought it down, controlled it. That was the catch where I was like, holy cow, Julio Jones is on the Tennessee Titans. I don't know what about it was. It was just kind of like the only player in the NFL that could have made that catch was Julio. Made it look so pretty was Julio. So that was kind of like Julio Jones is actually on the Tennessee Titans moment for me. That was the moment for me. And then he just kept making plays. And then we just had to settle too much early. Too many field goals in the red zone. Don't really see that much out of the Titans, especially with us having, Julio, AJ, Derrick Henry, those type players. But we were able to pick it up, in the second half. We'll get into that a little bit later. But into the first quarter, it's 3-3. Slow start, but I felt like we played pretty solid that first quarter. Just settled too much. Defense, I felt, played really well in the first quarter and the second half. Second quarter was a pretty big issue. What did they put up? Like 21 points in the second quarter. So that was kind of a, not something you'd want to see out of the defense in a quarter. 21 points. But for three quarters, Titans held the Seahawks to 9 points. So that was pretty impressive. Made a statement defensively in the second half too. Just a phenomenal game from the defense. I shouldn't say from point A to point B, but for most of the game, the defense played pretty well. Obviously you had those spurts in the second quarter where Russell Wilson just did Russell Wilson type stuff. That's going to happen. That's bound to happen. Tyler Lockett's bound to, break off a big one, and that's exactly what he did a couple of times this game. So But other than that, the defense played pretty well. But then you saw some pressure on the quarterback. We got a few sacks this game. I think we had, 3 or 4 sacks, and a big one late. We'll get into that. Billy, Danico Autry had a I think he had the first sack of the game. We also had Jeffrey Simmons, who also had a big sack there early in the game as well. And then we had the Julio deep ball. I think it's closer to the beginning of the second quarter, and that was just another Julio Jones type play. Not only can he beat you with the jump ball, he can outrun you down the field and make a play on the ball. And that was about a 50-yard catch. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, that's something that just you kind of had to get Julio Jones involved eventually. And I didn't think we tried to get him involved as much as last week, but we definitely got him involved this week. And I honestly, the play calling this week, I think, was much better. I don't know what it was, but felt like we were just so much more successful when we threw the ball on first down. But that was just me. And then after the Julio catch deep, 50-yarder, we weren't able to punch it in. I think we hit Julio a couple more times on that drive and got it with it. Like we were at the 10-yard line, and then Derrick Henry ran the ball all the way to the 3-yard line, got called back for a hold, and then we kind of had to settle. And that was the same drive, I believe, that Julio had the touchdown, and they didn't call it a touchdown. One of the plays where I was like, how is that not a touchdown? You called it a touchdown on the field. How do you overturn it? There's no way that is a conclusive evidence on the field where you can conclusively see Julio's foot is not in bounds. There's just no way you can tell me that Julio's foot was out of bounds. And there was a beautiful photo. I'm not sure who took it, but it was a beautiful photo. You could clearly see Julio Jones's foot is in bounds. But they called it. They tried their hardest. The Zebras tried their hardest to take out the Titans, but we were resilient and we kept fighting. I don't know how that catches. I really don't know. I'm watching it right now again, and I'm watching the replay, and it's a touchdown, guys. And then we had to settle for 3 there. That was just a big play in the game, just because we were down, and that would have been a big play. Me and my dad, we were watching the game. We were like, we're not going to be able to win this game with just field goals. It's just not going to happen. And we saw that, and then I think the ensuing drive is when Russell Wilson had 40 seconds and scored in like 10 seconds. It was just insane. He was just throwing out routes here, and then eventually made it down the field and scored. But it is what it is. 24-9 at half, thinking we're out of this game, but knowing we get the ball back at half, we had to go down the field and have a good drive, and we did just that. Cut it to a 1-score game with the Henry touchdown, where it was just absolutely blown up by. If he would have been tackled, when pretty much when he had to make the cutback, if he would have tackled before he made the cutback, it would have been like a loss of 3. But the King does King stuff, and he cuts it back, reverses field all the way to the other side of the field, and does King-like stuff and gets it into the end zone, cutting it to a 16-24 deficit. And then at that point, I'm getting a little bit more confident. And man, the defense got to stop. Actually, no, the defense didn't get to stop that drive. Seattle made it a 30-16 game. Myers actually missed the extra point there, which really was big. But he actually missed that extra point. The ensuing drive, Derrick Henry handoff, took it to the house. That was about a 60-yard touchdown. I believe it was Trayvon Diggs who couldn't make the tackle. And man, Derrick just took it to the house like he does. He did it often last year. We didn't really see it last week, but we saw it today. That was his second touchdown of the game. And defense got to stop the ensuing possession. We weren't able to. I think that was the possession where we went for it on 4th down and 5. Tannehill kind of pretty much got sacked, tried to throw the ball to, I think it was Michael Pruitt, might have been Jeff Swaim or someone. He just kind of put too much mustard on it, but he was falling down, so really can't blame him there. And then we were able to convert, and then the defense did their job and held the Seahawks to no points. Punted it, we got it back, put together a phenomenal drive. I believe it was just about 2, 3, 4 minutes left. Put together a phenomenal drive. Tannehill did, and Derrick Henry did as well. And they called the touchdown. Derrick Henry was clearly short. Don't know why they called it a touchdown. There's an interesting scenario there where we actually elected to take our timeout and not enforcing a 10-second runoff, which it would have been 22 seconds instead of 32. We would have had 2 timeouts with 22 seconds. Instead, we have 32 seconds left with a timeout. I would have taken the 10-second runoff and kept my 2 timeouts because I don't want Russell Wilson with time on the clock. So we do end up scoring that possession, the very next play actually. And there's actually 29 seconds left. It would have been 19 seconds left. But nonetheless, we get the stop anyway, that ensuing drive. And then overtime happens, win the coin toss. Shockingly enough, we don't win the game on the first drive. Get lucky, get bailed out. It could have been a 3 and out. But it was actually, we got bailed out with a roughing the passer penalty. And then we got moved up. And then the ensuing 3 plays, it was just absolutely terrible. We couldn't get anything going. I remember the pass to Chester Rogers almost was intercepted off his chest, popped up and almost was picked. Kind of gave me a heart attack there, but then just couldn't get anything going. 3rd and 15, couldn't complete it. I remember A.J. Brown dropped one that drive too. Just wasn't the best drive there. Punted it away. Brett Kern, one of the best weapons in the NFL, pins them pretty deep inside their own 10, I believe. First down, overthrows DK. 2nd down, another misfire. And just like that, boom, it's 3rd and 10. Defense does their job once again. And then if the game would have been ended on a safety, that would have been the most exciting way to end the game, because the defense would have held the Seahawks to 6 points in the second half and ended the game with a safety. That would have been very promising. Defense played phenomenal nonetheless. I mean, if they would have ended up with a safety, that would have just been icing on the cake, cherry on top type finish. But nonetheless, we get the stop. They put the ball at the 1-inch line. I still think that was a safety. There's 3 plays in the game where I think we just absolutely genuinely got screwed over, and that was the Julio touchdown. The Chris Carson carry to the outside. He reaches for the first down. It's 3rd and 1, and he's clearly a half-yard short, and they give him the first down. Got screwed over there. That was ridiculous. And then the play I just mentioned. What did I just say? The safety. It was just, that was a safety in my opinion. I mean, in my eyes, that was a safety. I don't know the forward progress. Clearly they said it was in front of the goal line, so I guess gave it to him at the 1-inch line pretty much. Then they punted. Chester Rogers fields it and falls down, protects the ball. Pretty smart on him. Derrick Henry first run on that drive. They know it's going to be a Derrick Henry run. They still can't stop it. It was a gain. It was first down there. Run it again for a yard. Run it again for about 4, and we run again on 3rd and 5 for about 4 more. 4th and 1. Bring out Randy Big Balls Bullock, who goes ahead and knocks it on through. No timeout was called. No ice. Shockingly enough, but if I was the coach in that scenario, I'm not calling a timeout to try to ice the kicker, because I want the kicker to be thinking, is he going to call a timeout or not? Is he going to call a timeout or not? And then he kicks it, and then you're still thinking in your head, is there a timeout called? So I like to not call a timeout in that situation, which is exactly what Pete Carroll did, because, you know, if you're the kicker on the other team, you're always thinking, okay, is he going to call a timeout? Is he going to call a timeout? And then you're kicking it. So, and then if you do ice him, you do give the kicker, and you can't really ice these guys, especially Randy Bullock, who's been around the league. Can't really ice these guys because they have been iced before thousands of times. So I really don't believe in the icing the kicker unless it's like a rookie kicker or a guy that's just been picked up, which in this situation Randy Bullock was picked up, but he's a vet in the NFL. He's kicked the ball for a while now. So I don't believe in the icing the kicker situation, and Randy Bullock's already made a couple in the game. He went 4 for 5. Very solid day for him. But, you know, for example, if he was to ice him, then the kickers are kind of like, all right, I've got to knock this one through. Focuses up, locks in, and doesn't have the question of am I going to get iced, because you can't call 2 timeouts in a row. So I don't believe in the icing the kicker unless it's a certain situation where a guy's under pressure, a new team, rookie, something like that. So I'm right with Pete Carroll there, but didn't work. Bullock knocked it through. We won the game 33-30, and that's it. So I really enjoyed watching this game from the start to finish. You know, some ups and downs. I saw some Titans fans pretty upset, but we were just sticking around. It could have easily turned into a situation like last week where we just kind of just fell apart, and they just, you know, Arizona last week just kept putting it on us. But we just stuck around, hung in there, and, you know, finally was victorious. Got the game to overtime, which, you know, Vrabel's a guy that, you know, could have gone for it there, but, you know, he trusts his kicker, and Randy Bullock barely makes the extra point. About gave me a heart attack there too, but we get the game into overtime. We win the coin toss. And that stadium, I'm telling you guys, it was rocking. That stadium is loud, one of the loudest, some of the loudest fans in the NFL. And it was just you know, a signature win. That's what I'll call it. It was a signature win. Get to 1-1, second in the division, behind, who would have thought, the Houston Texans, who's 1-1, and they lead because they have the tiebreaker because they're 1-0 in the division. But hopefully we can take care of Indianapolis next week. That'll be a big game next week. Very big game next week, actually. So if we can take care of business next week, we got a couple of you know, we got the Jets, the Jags, then we get into a couple of tough ones against the Bills, the Chiefs. So if we can just take care of business these next few weeks, I think we'll be looking good. So yeah, with that being said, that is going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Until next time, I'll see y'all.